Hello, my lovelies. I'm your bounty beautiful boy Koi. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, we celebrate the beginning of a beautiful segment that I'm calling the Ranking of Waifus. This is a segment where we pick out waifus from every season of the year, culminating in an end-of-the-year ranking tournament to see who's the greatest waifu of the year. Will your waifu stand the test of time and rise to the top to become the #1 waifu of 2022? Stick around and find out. Do take caution though, there will be spoilers concerning the anime of the waifus we talk about, and if you don't like spoilers, please just spare yourself. Before we start, let's discuss the ranking system and what factors we're looking at to place our waifus of the year. Dere type, usefulness, emotional depth, breedability, and that body yaddy yaddy. Every waifu can get up to 2 points in each category. For those who need more details on the category, let's get to the explaining. Dere type. This is the category in which we check what kind of dere your waifu fits the most. Be it the sick love of a yandere, the violent crushing embrace of a tsundere, or the warm pillowy squish of dere dere love. We'll evaluate how your waifu fits into her dere type and how strongly, as well as how the reasoning for that behavior is justified. Usefulness. In this category, we'll judge the impact your waifu has had on the people in her series and on the events going on around them. How powerful is she, and did she use those powers to take a pivotal role in the story, or was she simply left in the dust by main character Kun? Emotional depth. Is your waifu a fully rounded person with ups and downs? Does she have a reasoning behind her actions, and is she capable of learning and growing to become a more wise person? In the emotional depth category, we'll take a hard dive into the real meat and bones of your waifu's personality, if she has one. Breedability. In this category, we'll look into just how much mother material your waifu has hiding behind that pretty face. Is she a waifu for lifeu who will love you to the day you die and raise your children with care? Or is she just a passing fling thrown to the breeze? Note, breedability is not based solely on physical characteristics, but it also depends on the content of your waifu's character. And last but not least, body yaddy yaddy. The category we all know you're here for. In this category, we'll check out the bust, bottom, hips, the lips of your waifu, and see if she has the most rockin' bod of them all. This category will always be based on the looks of the character in the show or manga, in order to judge the character fairly without the artist bias. With that out of the way, let's bring forth our first contestant of the year. In honor of the anime whose name I'm ripping off, I present you with Queen Healing from Ranking of Kings. Yes, our first contestant is the second wife and widow of King Boss, and the adoptive mother of the strongest king, this guy. She's got beauty, she's got guts, she protect, and she attack. Let's jump right into the ranking. Dere type. At first, Queen Healing may come across as a Maya dere, someone portrayed as a villain in the story who comes over to the side of our young Prince Boji after having a change of heart. However, writing off Queen Healing as this dere type would be a mistake. Queen Healing has always been on Boji's side and doing her best to be an excellent mother. That being the case, one would naturally assume that she would lean into the Hime dere archetype, being that she's literally a queen. However, the Hime dere archetype requires that the character have an overinflated ego and a disproportionate view of her own standing in the world. Early on in Ranking of the Kings, an average viewer might be fooled into thinking that this is the archetype that best fits Queen Healing. But once again, that's not the case. To truly zero in on Queen Healing's dere type, we had to dig a bit further. While doing that digging, we find that Queen Healing is a dere dere, specifically the refined Ojo dere. She's strict with herself and doing her best to uphold the standing that she has as a queen, and is strict with her sons, expecting them to uphold themselves properly as princes. Yet she's still sweet and caring to everyone around her. Her first instinct is not to strike at someone, but to reason with them and try her best to resolve her issues in a dignified and elegant manner. However, that doesn't mean that Queen Healing fits perfectly into this archetype. She's a respectable and responsible queen, but she's certainly not afraid to get dirty. She's never above doing what she thinks needs to be done for the sake of her children, her kingdom, or her friends. As a dere dere, Queen Healing gets a 1.5. Usefulness. Over the anime ranking of queens, Queen Healing is nothing if not instrumental in her progression of the story. She's a profound healer and a scrutinizing deliberator, and a caring mother. Throughout the story, she raises both Boji and Daida, allows Boji to go on his journey to become stronger, heals Boji after he's injured multiple times, confronts and stands against a boss in Daida's body, heals key characters in the fight to retake the kingdom, and is an emotional pillar for the great deal of the cast. As a pivotal character, none of the events in the story would have played out properly and resulted in a happy ending if Queen Healing had not been there. In usefulness, Queen Healing gets a perfect 2.0. Emotional depth. Queen Healing is one of the most complex characters seen in anime this year. She struggles not only with her obligations as a queen and a representative of the royal family, but also with her duties as a mother. In the beginning of Ranking of Kings, we only really get to see one side of Healing. We see her as a queen, obsessed with her standing and the standing of her biological son, Prince Daida. She seems cold and hard to crack. The anime lures us into believing that she will be an evil and cruel opposition to our charming little Boji claiming the throne. Yet, as the episodes progress, we see how dedicated she is as a mother, not only to Daida, but to Boji as well. She's worried constantly about them and their well-being. But, being one person, she can't be everywhere at one time. Bad things just happen. But, when they do happen, Healing is there with her healing touch and a motherly smile. With that said, she's not perfect. She has flaws and lapses in her judgment. One of those lapses happens in one of the most touching scenes in the series. Daida is trapped inside of his own body with absolutely no way out. In desperation, he cries for the help of his mother. Queen Healing, being the super mom that she is, hears her son and his pleas for help, and when she thinks she's found him inside of the new king boss's chest, she draws a knife and prepares to cut Daida out of boss by force. Now, this isn't exactly the brightest idea, and it takes a moment for her to realize that in her desperation she almost carved out the chest of her own son in an attempt to save him. After that realization, she's stricken by grief, overwhelmed by the prospect that there's nothing that she can do to save her son. It's a pivotal moment in the anime and well worth watching. But Healing's emotional range isn't just limited to dutiful and distraught. This woman is understanding, determined, and kind. She's brave enough to throw herself into dangerous bouts just to save her friends and loved ones, even though she's not a fighter. On top of all of these traits, Queen Healing is a growing and learning character. She learns not only how to care for Boji and his disabilities, but also how to respect Boji and acknowledge his efforts and triumphs. Every episode, Healing becomes more of a fulfilled, rounded-out person. All around, she's a stand-up woman. So, for the category of emotional depth, Queen Healing gets a 2.0. Breedability. We're getting around to the final categories, and let's all be clear, these are crucial categories for any waifu connoisseur. In the category of breedability, does Queen Healing stand among the greatest? You know damn well she does. This woman is a queen. She had a child with this. Not only did she have that baby and raise and lovingly care for him, but even before that, Queen Healing took Boji as her own baby boy. She learned to sign and protected Boji like he was her blood. This is a woman who would go to the grave protecting her family with a smile on her face, so long as she knew they were safe. She's a woman who would check you if you were doing something stupid or crazy. She's got mommy energy for years. That being said, Queen Healing is a mommy type, which is not for everyone. She's not a lewd woman, and her style of dress ranges from practical to refined, but never lewd or seductive. If you're an anime degenerate, this can be a bit of a minus. In the category of breedability, Queen Healing gets a 1.6. Body yaddy yaddy. The final category is upon us, my fellow cultured folk. And what must we say about Queen Healing's body? How hot is Healing? Well, looking at her, I've got to say she's pretty good looking. She has sharp, angular facial features, which make her engaging to look at. She has a big old set of mommy milkers on the full display to further emphasize her motherly leanings. She has a slim waist and makes sure that her dresses emphasize the wide curve of her hips. Atop that, her long blonde hair is always done up to suit the occasion. Premium stuff. However, her period-appropriate outfits do very little in the way of showing off skin, and, as we mentioned before, she rarely dresses to catch the eye. While that is a great thing for her character, and from a storytelling perspective, the rather chaste choice of dress does not help to show off the amazing body beneath. In the category of body, Queen Healing gets a 1.5. Final ranking. Putting her scores together, Queen Healing walks away with an 8.6 and a proud smile on her face. This queen truly deserves her title and a place among the great waifu ranks. Well, that's all for our first ranking of waifus with Queen Healing. She currently stands atop the precipice of glory, looking down on the waifus around her as Queen of 2022. It'd be a shame if someone were to take her crown. Tune in next time when we see who the next waifu of 2022 will be. Until then, please hit that like and subscribe button so that I may climb the ranking of VTubers. If you like this video, please consider checking out my Twitch. I stream games and anime news on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays. Links in the description. Please share your opinions, personal rankings, and suggestions for 2022 waifus down in the comment section. I look forward to chatting with you. That's all for now, Sprouts. Bye-bye!